So I had this big event that I was preparing for. The initial response of my nervous system was to go into that imposter syndrome and to own it, to actually feel like, oh, you are not qualified. And I'm saying this because I think it's so easy to look at other people or other women who are successful and think that somehow they don't have these thoughts or somehow they don't have these doubts. All of that second guessing that goes on. And I'm just here to tell you today that's not true. We all have these thoughts. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the She Rises podcast. My name is Krista Vieira, and I had something come up this week that I thought to myself, oh, this might be really good for some of the people who enjoy this podcast and some of the things that I talk about. So I had this big event that I was preparing for. So I run these powerful events for women every few months, and they are very transformational, very expansive, and they're designed to help people recognize their potential and step into their power. However, this event that I was preparing for this week is an event I've never run before called Elevate Your Business, and it was born out of the idea that having women together who are in business, supporting each other, championing each other, and also just spending some time really getting clear on what it is that they're creating, what it is that they are offering to the world, and who they have to be in order to step into the next version of that, the next level of that. That was something that I felt really called to create. And so I started marketing it, and I had a bunch of people sign up. And then I had to go around to creating the event structure and the workshop offerings and all of that. And something happened that hasn't happened in a while. Which is that I felt this, oh, who are you to be running this, come up in my mind. And I noticed this seed inside of me, this seed of doubt, this seed of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is when you are qualified to do something and yet you hold a perception of yourself that you are somehow unqualified, unfit, that there are other people more skilled than you, and basically that you just don't believe in your ability to do it, or that you have the qualifications, the skills to do what it is that's in front of you to do. Basically, you're qualified, but you don't think that you are. And I saw this part of myself rear up, and I thought to myself, holy cow, it's been a while. There you are. And something really struck me in that moment because when I look at everything that's on my plate, there's a lot that I'm leaning into, and I take the inspired actions, and I'm moving forward. And I think that many of you can relate, that when you look at your life, you can see what's in front of you. You can see the next opportunity or the next obstacle, the next challenge. But this is what became abundantly clear to me, is that it doesn't matter how far along you are. It doesn't matter how successful you are. It doesn't matter how much you've accomplished. When you are at the bottom of the next mountain and you are doing something new, or you are challenging your limits and you are starting to press outside of your comfort zone, when you are starting to charter new territory in your life, the old voices will come back. And they are not a sign that you are on the wrong path or that you're doing the wrong thing. I actually believe that they are the sign that you are moving in the right direction. But hear me out. The nervous system is designed for safety. We've been wired to perceive anything outside of our current comfort zone as a threat. And that means that it doesn't matter if it's a great opportunity or if it's the biggest obstacle we've ever faced, we're going to see both of them as a threat. Because anything that's naturally outside of our current nervous system's comfort isn't normal for who we are right now. We have to lean into that discomfort in order to expand what we're willing to abide with, in order to expand what is possible for us to hold. We have to grow our capacity whenever we are in front of something new. And I found myself as I was doing all of this in front of something new. And it was such a great moment to recognize that when we go on this journey of self-transformation, when we go on a journey of creating businesses, when we go on a journey of becoming a mom, when we go on a journey of starting to uncover who and what we are, what we're really doing here, what our soul purpose is, all of that good stuff. Whatever journey you particularly feel that you're on, or any combination of those, at some point, you're going to be challenging those limits. At some point, your nervous system is not going to feel safe. And this is the beautiful thing that can happen as you start to change your belief in your identity. And in my program, the Elevation Method, a lot of what we work with is identity and nervous system calibration, so that you have more capacity as you grow to hold the growth that you are stepping into. And what happens when you find yourself at the bottom of this mountain and you see the imposter syndrome come up, or you see the fear settle into your stomach or into your body, and you notice the doubts in your mind, or there's that little hesitation, that pause inside to say, is this safe? Of course, that's not what the voice is saying. It's not saying, is this safe? It's screaming at you, or it's whispering doubts into your mind, whatever it's doing. But as you get to that point, you start to realize, oh, this is the sign that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Because every single time I grow, my nervous system is going to go back to the neural pathways that it's formed in order to determine whether or not this is safe territory. So if I am going outside of my comfort zone and I'm expanding into new territory, these patterns will get triggered. That is normal. And we start to normalize the journey. We start to normalize the discomfort of growth. And when we're committed to an expansion within ourselves, or we're committed to really discovering who we are, or we're committed to the vision that we have of what it is that we're creating in this life, why we're here, and we're committed to uncovering that for ourselves, we start to accept that this is what's going to happen. But the first few times it happens, it's very sneaky. And in fact, this time it kind of snuck up on me. I wasn't expecting it. And so when it reared up, the initial response of my nervous system was to go into that imposter syndrome and to own it, to actually feel like, oh, you are not qualified. Maybe somebody else should do it. And that's not the only thoughts that come up. Then the rest of the thoughts come up too, which is, oh, somebody else is already doing this and they're doing it so much better than you. Maybe you should just give up. Maybe you're not supposed to be doing it. And I'm saying this because I think it's so easy to look at other people or other women who are successful and think that somehow they don't have these thoughts, or somehow they don't have these doubts. Somehow they're impervious to all of that second guessing that goes on. And I'm just here to tell you today, that's not true. We all have these thoughts. We all have these doubts. We all have patterns that have been wired into us from such a long time ago that we never chose. Subconscious patterns are within us. However, the beautiful thing is, and what I noticed, is that there is an opportunity as we continue to do this work to build a new response when those thoughts arise. We start to recognize them and say, oh, this is what growth looks like. So it's not a sign for me to stop. And it's not a sign for me to give in to that voice. It's a sign for me to recognize I am growing. I am becoming. It's a signpost designed to tell me I'm on the right path, because no one successful in their life in any way got to where they are without finding themselves at the bottom of the next mountain. There is just no way. As soon as you climb yourself to the top of a mountain and you find some measure of success, and you feel confident, and you feel comfortable, and you start to feel like you've got your wits about you and everything's kind of flowing well, you turn around and the mountain, the next one, is right there. Now, you can choose to never turn around. You can choose not to look, but it's still there. So if you don't currently see the mountain, maybe you're looking in the opposite direction. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are on a path of growth, and if you are on a path of this expansion right now, if you are building a business, if you are challenging yourself to find out, what more was I made for than what I'm currently living into in my life right now? Is there untapped potential inside of me? Is there something that I can bring to the surface that is just waiting to be released? Is there a level of peace that I've been leaving on the table because I just haven't dug down that far to access it? But it's within me, and it's possible. As we start to get curious about ourselves and our capacity and our capability, and we start to think, I don't want to leave anything on the table in this life. I really want to know what I'm made of. And I really want to feel at the end of my life, not 40, 50 years from now, but whenever that end might be, knowing that we do not have that date, that I did everything I was meant to do. I did everything I came here to do. I did everything I wanted. I lived my fullest potential, and I have no regrets from this moment on. This is the invitation on the table. So sometimes we turn around at this moment and we see that mountain. And I turned around in the last few weeks and I saw the mountain. And a part of me was like, why the heck did you turn around? Why did you put that there? But I know in my heart that this is what I'm meant to do. I know that I put it there for a reason, because that's what my heart is calling me forward to do. That's what I feel compelled to do in this life. And it does ask something of me. When you look at the dreams that you have, the things that you imagine that you don't yet know how to achieve, it asks something of you. It asks a part of you to come to the surface that's within you, that hasn't yet been tapped and accessed and drawn up. And maybe that's what this life is here to really do, is to take that part of you and start to bring it to the surface more and more, with more confidence and more love and more compassion and more vibrancy every single day. That might be the calling, to not leave anything on the table. So the idea that you will turn around and there will be no more mountain, that's an illusion. That's never going to be the case. You can start to perceive the challenges in front of you, the next mountain, the thing that's coming up, the thing that asks something of you, as a deep and amazing opportunity. And notice that it's not just normal that the old patterns and the old beliefs are going to come up. It's expected. So expect to meet that part of yourself again. Don't be surprised when you see her. Don't be surprised when you hear that voice. Let's start to, however, maybe internalize a different relationship with that voice. Start to recognize, this is what happens when I'm challenging those edges again. And hey, I have challenged those edges before, and I have been successful. I have found my way to the other side of this. I know I'm capable. And we start to build a confidence, even in the face of the mountain, that we can climb it. And we start to look around at the people in our lives and we start to believe they can climb whatever mountain is in front of them. They can do it. They can achieve it. They can find their way. And the mountain and the journey is what it's all about. That's what this is all for. Every single time you climb, you get a new view, a new perspective, a new awareness of who and what you are. And it is the most beautiful gift to realize you are far more capable than you ever gave yourself credit for. So I just want to leave you with, if you have been climbing a mountain, or if you know that there's a mountain at your back that you haven't turned around to take a look at yet, I want you to know you are fully capable. This is the opportunity, this is the moment to trust in yourself more than ever, and to really send those voices that come up to the curb, to recognize them as an older version of you that no longer gets to call the shots, that no longer has the power, that is no longer in the driver's seat making the decisions. You are capable. You are in the driver's seat. And as you start to walk along the path, the whole way appears, as Rumi says. Napoleon Hill has a great quote. He's the author of Think and Grow Rich, and he says, "The time for self-doubt and self-criticism is over." And I just love the finality of that. If we were to claim that as an affirmation, as a tenet of who we are, the time for self-doubt and self-criticism is over. It just takes that and closes the book so that when it rises up, we can say to it, oh no, that's from a long time ago. That's not from who I am today. That's not the version of me that is facing this mountain, that is facing this opportunity to grow, to charter more territory of my soul and of who and what I am and what I'm capable of and what I'm holding space for in this lifetime. There's so much more to me coming to the surface, and I embrace it. So I hope that this resonated with you today. I would love to hear your comments below. Wishing you the most amazing day, and we will see you very soon.